Will your child be ready financially? That's one of the questions you may be asking if you have a kid who's getting ready to leave the house. How do you know if they're prepared? Is there a list of do's and don'ts that you need to walk them through prior to them leaving? Well, as a financial expert, I could sit here and answer some of those questions, but I thought it would be a lot more relevant to bring in somebody who's recently done this themselves. So we have brought on Jordan Meek. She is an employee of Stewardship, and she was recently on a podcast that was awesome. Talked about you starting a business at 19 years old. If you haven't listened to that episode, go and check it out. So Jordan, my guess is there were some things that you were prepared for, you knew were coming. What were some of those items that you absolutely knew I was gonna have to pay for these?
Rent.
Okay.
Gas, car insurance, and phone bill.
And this is gonna happen with your kids as well. There's going to be things that they know in their head that they're going to have to pay for, which is good. But there's always a surprise. And my guess, Jordan, is with you. There were some things that were a surprise. What surprised you? Things that you weren't anticipating having to pay for, but now you have to.
Things like groceries and like toiletries, toilet paper, things that were just in my parents' house.
Paper towels.
Toothpaste, things that you probably haven't paid for. And then other things like getting an oil change, new tires on a car. When I got sick, I had to go to the doctor and pay for medicine and then go to Sprouts to get all these vitamins that my mom just had in her pantry. And now I had to pay for it myself. That was just unexpected.
Yeah, those are really good ones. There's obviously some monthly expenses that you thought through, but then there's also some things that have to do with having a household, some startup expenses that you weren't thinking through at all. If you want to bake some cookies, you're going to need salt or flour, and those are just staples that people have in their house.
Yep.
You might need tools that your father might just have in the garage.
Yep.
So startup expenses for a household are something that your kids need to prepare for in their finances. So those are really good practical steps that can help, but to win with finances, really you have to have the right behaviors. You have to have the right mindset. So what was your mindset with your personal finances as you were moving out?
You can't spend more money than you make. Like I can't go out and buy multiple $100 pairs of sneakers every week. I just knew I could maybe buy one nice pair of sneakers every now and then, but not often. Like I can't create that habit. Also just being more mindful of spending money on coffee and eating out. It's not that I can't, it's just I need to limit myself because if I don't have the money, if I don't earn that money in my income, then I can't spend it.
Now that you're on your own, you have necessities. Like you have rent and you have food and you have real things that you're paying for now that your parents aren't paying for. So this mindset of not spending more than you make is hugely important. What mindset were you not prepared for? What's something that maybe surprised you or something that you had to learn as you began this personal financial journey on your own?
I had to have the mindset of I'm not gonna go from living in my parents' house with that lifestyle and then move out and have the same lifestyle. I will have a different lifestyle. I live in a guest house, different appliances, different water. I dealt with really bad water in the place that I live at now because it wasn't the nice water that my parents paid for. They have been making money for many years and they're just further along in life. I am just starting out. I wasn't gonna go from living in my parents' house, spending my money how I wanted to, when now I have expenses and things like that that I didn't have before.
It's important that our kids know and understand they're starting their lifestyle from square one, and that's okay. And that journey is also okay. And it can be fun to go through together with other people, with friends, with a new spouse, but for them not to try and live the same lifestyle that they've been accustomed to while they've been under your roof. That's a really good one. Okay, so let's go through a couple practical steps that you can help your kid with before they move out. Jordan, what is the first piece of advice that you would tell their kids?
Start saving now.
Okay.
If you are getting income, you're probably not spending all of that money that you're gaining, so save as much as you can.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If your child is currently working and living under your roof, this is a great opportunity for them to save and save and save, which will then help with the things that we talked about earlier in the video, which is some of those startup expenses when somebody goes out to live on their own. Another practical step, and maybe even an encouragement for you parents, is You do not have to teach your child about budgeting and how to use a budgeting app before they leave the house. Jordan, did someone teach you how to budget?
No.
No. Did you know how to use budgeting apps before you left your house?
No.
No. You just need to help them understand that they must count the cost. They cannot spend more than they're making. So you can do this simply with your children by just getting a piece of paper and a pencil and having two sides to it. Income, expenses, write down what their take-home pay is going to be, and help them determine what their expenses will be when they're out on their own. That way they can either adjust their expenses or find ways to earn more income to help make it match. The third practical step that I want to share with you guys is to talk with your kids about the power of compound interest investing. Now, Jordan, your husband, Connor, he started investing at age 18. And what did that mean now for you guys as you're newly married?
Now, 6 months into marriage, we're able to buy a house.
Already?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because he invested early and we ended up selling a car because we only needed one car and put that money into investments. And then that money has grown over time. And with that money, we're able to have a down payment on a house.
Wow. Okay, so there's two things there. One, the power of investing and getting involved early. But then two, adjusting the lifestyle. Like most households are used to having two vehicles, but it's not an absolute requirement. And you guys made it work. Now, was it ideal?
No.
No, there were some sacrifices and things that were required, but it was okay to have a different lifestyle when you're first moving out so that you can have some flexibility to do things later.
Yep.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, one warning I want to give to you parents is do not preach at your kids. They're not going to listen to you if you just pound them over the head with investments and compound interest tables. That's just not going to do anything for them, and it's not going to do any favors for you. Show them the numbers, encourage them to invest, but in the end, it's got to be their idea, and they're the ones that are going to have to take the actions. So Jordan, whenever you did move out of the house, was there like a complete cutoff? That's it? No finances, no nothing?
No.
Okay, so you got a lot of help still along the way.
Yep.
You and your husband both, right?
Yep.
And that's okay. It's okay to help your kids. As they're exiting, as they're leaving the house and starting finances on their own, it's okay every once in a while to help. As a matter of fact, it's probably appreciated.
Yes.
And you also need to talk to your kids to learn how to accept help and gifts with grace and love and respond with gratitude. So you have a child who is technically an adult and they might be leaving the house. A lot of emotions and things that are running through your head. Fears to make sure that they're going to be completely ready financially as part of that, but also your baby might be leaving and that might be causing some anxiousness or fear or even excitement. Either way, celebrate this. Celebrate the fact that you have a child that is growing up. Make sure that you spend time to talk with them about the things that we mentioned in this video. And it doesn't have to be one conversation that's like this grand inquisition at your dinner table. This can be multiple conversations over a period of months. And for your child, if they want to get additional financial wisdom, they can subscribe to this YouTube channel to get 1-minute money tips, or they can follow us on social media where Jordan, who our social media manager, is going to be posting 1-minute money tips and other quick little pieces of advice to help them as they get started in their financial journey. Thanks.